amazing. He's only 19 years old. From the Mariposa Club, from Canada, Elvis Stoico. Wow! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has rocked this building.
There's Elvis Stoico from Skate Canada 1991 in London, and that was Elvis's first of 5 Skate Canada titles, the most by any man in the 30-year history of this competition. Speaking of the men, they're warming up behind me for the free skate final. Before we get to that, I want to ask you how you're doing out there trying to make sense of this new judging system. It is a complete departure from what we're all used to, and if you're sitting there asking yourself a lot of questions, you're not alone. Skaters and coaches alike at this competition are still trying to figure out the best approach to take into competition under the new judging system.
I think strategy is going to be an interesting developing aspect of our sport.
It's like a game, and it's a fun challenge.
This system pushes skaters to find some new, unusual ways to do easier elements as a spins and spirals, and this is good for figure skating in general.
Because you have to work on spins and the footwork and basic skating skill, because each element has the same emphasis.
Right now, when you do the programs, when you're skating, you're putting more attention on the different things what you never cared about it before, and I like it. Right now, I like it.
Every athlete is going to be able to say, based on their own consistency and their own comfort level, what they're going to do in a situation. They have the power to control the points that they're going to get.
Yes, we need to put, we need to get maximum possible points.
If I go into a cautious triple loop, I won't get those bonus points. So I'm really taking advantage of using the strategy to get the maximum amount of bonus points possible.
There's so many things that can add little points here and there that you don't realize. And
so we're a little more cautious at this event than we would like to be.
Successful skating is based on repetition.
Actually, creativity is going to be rewarded a lot more than it was in the past.
You know, we're all on the same path to make it better for the athletes, and that's what it's about.
Very similar to the scoring system used by freestyle skiing, for instance, gymnastics, diving, ski jumping. You gave it an 8 out of 10, Tracy Wilson. Now, what do you think they have to work on this system to make it the best that it could be?
Well, I think what they have to work on, I think they will be working on it, is educating the judges specifically in the second set of marks. That's the program components mark. That takes into consideration skating skills, transitions, performance, choreography, and interpretation. And right now, I think those marks are kind of blurry. They're a little all over the place. The judges tend to stay in the same range, where sometimes a team's skating skills should be very low and their choreography high. I think that's going to take training. I also think they might have to split the panel and have a special panel judge the second mark and then another panel judge the first mark. So I think all of that will come in time, but training is absolutely key. That you have the right people in those seats to make the decision is essential.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, there are a lot of people out there, skeptics, who think that maybe they haven't addressed the fundamental problem, and that is the competency and the credibility of the judges in the wake of the Salt Lake City scandal. I mean, there's such anonymity now behind those marks.
Anonymity in a way, but when you look at the report card, you can see every single mark given for every element. And so it's difficult for a judge to explain if a skater falls on something, if he doesn't give a -3. The judges really have to be on their toes, and the ISU have brought in a whole new criteria for how they will discipline judges. If they are proved to be inept or if they are biased, they will be removed from the system, and it's absolute. It's a lifetime ban. So they are also working out the details of that system, but it's quite specific how they're going to discipline the judges and how they're going to catch them if they're not on their toes when they're judging.
Well, hallelujah, if that can happen.
If that can happen.
And it's exactly what skating needs. Well, here we are, men's free skate, first skater one of Canada's most popular, young Fodor Ondreas, who is training in the United States right now with Richard Callahan, who was the coach of Todd Eldridge, of course. Russian-born Fodor Ondreas.
Fodor landed his first quad in competition last year and will open with it here. Change to a triple flip, triple toe. This is where strategy is coming into play because you get a high degree of difficulty for a triple flip, triple toe. Triple axel combination. Double toes to his triple jump to get more marks.
Away from the ice. He was a full-time model as well as a skater for a while. He's into racing cars now. His girlfriend is Tanith Belbin, the Canadian ice dancer who competes for the United States, who won Skate America last week with Benjamin Augusto. It's one of the reasons Fodor went to Detroit. Tanith trains at the same club. Here's the axel.
His choreography so he can get the necessary jumps in, rearranging the order of his jumps, but as he's done that, he's lost a little bit in the way of choreography. Not as sophisticated as the top skaters in this competition. So where he'll make up marks on one hand, he'll probably lose them on the other. Big movement.
Long been a skater to watch in Canada. We'll watch him at the National Championships in Edmonton in early January. First skater tonight We'll wait for his marks. Come back to us in Mississauga in a moment. Fodor Ondreas, first skater of the night. These are the marks we'll watch. 156. See a number of skaters leap over that total, but Fodor getting a chance to compete at Skate Canada. We'll hear more about him during the season. Now he is a spectator, and we have the men's final flight to come, featuring Takeshi Honda and Emmanuel Sandu, and also Evgeny Plushenko. High flyers still ahead. The fight for gold here in Mississauga. And when we come back, a tribute to one of the greatest of all time, Alexei Yagudin, who's walking away from amateur skating. Here he is, the defending world champion, 2 times, Alexei Yagudin. Wow, that was sweet.
Alexei Yagudin at Skate Canada in 1999 in St. John. Yagudin won at Skate Canada 3 times, and I'll tell you what, 3 years ago at Skate Canada in this rink, he absolutely raised the roof with his now famous Gladiator program. That was a very special night. He, of course, was born in Russia, but Alexei Yagudin once told us that he felt like he was half Canadian. He is absolutely adored coast to coast by Canadian figure skating fans, but most importantly, as he retires from active competition, he has the utmost respect from his peers.
Magnificent athlete. There's a lot of emotion in him.
When you watched him skate, he just looked like he did it because he loved it, right down to the bone.
He's a very hard worker. He's really left a big mark on men's skating.
Yagudin is definitely one of the most talented skaters amongst the Olympic and world champions.
Because every time he stepped on the ice, it seemed that he was really giving it his all to the audience.
And when he skated Gladiator, you could almost see the blood on the ice.
He's a real fighter, a real competitor, and he's a great skater.
Yagudin skated with his whole soul.
He's accomplished everything that you can, you know, and more. So, you know, my hat is off to him.
I've learned a lot from training with him, and we get along really well, and he is nice.
People will remember him for a long time.
Say it ain't so. Alexei Yagudin, you're retiring from Olympic-eligible skating.
Yeah, actually made up my mind finally, and I'm really happy about that move.
What was the determining factor? Why? I know we've talked a lot about what you've done in the history of this sport, an Olympic gold medal, 4-time world champion. Why now?
Well, I actually had pretty much a lot of time this summer because I haven't been skating that much. And you know what? I just realized that figure skating world is a huge world, but still, there are so many other opportunities outside of figure skating world, and I have so many proposals, like in Hollywood or doing something else. So I just decided that's enough for me. I finished with my first part of my life, and I want to step in the second one.
Okay, but you did love to compete in Canada, and I want to know how you feel stepping back into this arena, a sellout crowd, they're pumped. Do you want to get out on that ice and compete just a little bit?
Actually, not really.
No?
But when I was getting on the plane this morning, I actually felt a little bit nervous because I knew that I'm going to Canada. I knew that I love this place, and I love to compete here a lot.
And Plushenko's on the ice. Your thoughts on that?
Good luck.
Now, you did have a great rivalry, and you had a lot of great rivalries over this era. You're only 23 years old, by the way, and you're retiring, but...
Well, some people do that at age 25 to 30. I'm done at 23. I'm pretty lucky.
You are lucky. Talk about Elvis Stojko and what the kind of rivalry you had with him.
You know, we had... The main thing what I had when I was competing is just I was focusing on my own performance, but I'm just really glad we had such many good rivals like Plushenko, Elvis Stojko, Todd Eldridge, and other guys. So it just progressed. It pushed the level of figure skating way higher.
Okay, favorite moment competing in Canada?
There are so many of them. I can't just underline one of those. But, of course, overcoming myself and overcoming injury at the Worlds in Vancouver.
That's the one that stands out for me, in particular, your short program. It was really terrific.
Thank you.
Evgeny Plushenko, I know that you've had a long rivalry. Are you friends at all? Can you say that?
Next question.
Next question, I guess not then. There's Plushenko on the ice right now competing. What you said Hollywood, you want to do something in Hollywood. Do you want to get into movies, into acting? Is that what you like to do?
Why not? You know, there are so many other things in this world besides figure skating. I just realized that, unfortunately, when I've been skating and competing, I didn't have enough time to do that. And right now, I just realized that being in the professional world, I want, first of all, to move this professional rank higher, and also that I will have a lot of more free time to do something else.
So this is your last appearance at a Olympic-eligible competition, your last appearance on the ice, not in the competition, but in the exhibition. Tell me about why and how you feel about that.
Well, actually, I'm just really glad to be back in Canada. As I said before, I really love Canadian people and how they react when you skate here. And that's why I just picked Skate Canada to do my last exhibition number being as eligible skater.
What do you have in store for us tomorrow?
Well, it's going to be in a secret. It's one of my new programs.
Well, we're going to see that on the Parade of Champions next week on CTV. Alexei Yagudin, you have done so much for skating. If there's one moment, though, and you have tons of them, if there's one thing that you want people to remember you by, what's that?
You know, being good, then just disappearing in this world, rank, and then just being back and winning the Olympics.
Well, you were a great champion. As we take a look at some of the champions, this is our final order of skate here tonight. And there will be quite a fight here. A lot of high flyers. Jeff Buttle, what do you think was it about Canada, though, and the Canadian fans when you came into rinks here that got you so excited? Because I think you had some of your best skates in front of a Canadian audience.
Well, because first of all, you know, the ice is slippery everywhere, but the audience are just amazing, and I love Canadian audience a lot because they just support you through all your performance as soon as you start until the last second of your skate. So that's why I guess I've done a lot of good skate in Canada.
Well, you've done a lot of great skates. You've done a lot of great things for this sport. Good luck. I know you're going to be skating on Stars on Ice. We hate to see you go from this, but you've provided a lot of memories. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Alexei Yagudin, four-time world champion, Olympic champion, who is walking away from Olympic-eligible competition. And now we get ready for the final flight here. Tonight, live in Mississauga at the Hershey Center, will be Chang Jiang Li, then Takeshi Honda, Emmanuel Sandu, Evgeny Plushenko, and Daisuke Takahashi, one of the young Japanese skaters we're going to be talking about. But first up, one of the high flyers from China, former four-continent champion, fourth in the worlds in Washington, and getting some help from Canadian Brian Orser, most recently with some of his choreography.
And the Chinese skaters have all come a long way with their artistry, but still, the men are terrific jumpers, and that's their strength. Here's his quad. Oh! Crooked in the air, didn't have a chance on that. One of the few skaters who has successfully landed two different quads in competition. Chang Jiang Li will now try a quad salchow. There it is. Quad sal triple double toe. where his artistry has improved, as he's showing a more lyrical style, paying more attention to his music than in the past. This is a triple axel. No, and like the first pass, he's opened up in the air, and that's one of his best jumps usually, and a huge score if he could nail it. Now he's gone and added it back in.
Chang Jiang, of course, trying to work on the entire package, just not the jumps. It's always been about the jumps for him.
So when you have to concentrate on footwork and connect steps, it steals your focus from the jump. So often his jumps will go while he's trying to gain artistry. Triple Salchow. Looking a little slow and tired at this point in the program, almost finished.
Like a basketball player who's a shooter, if you don't have your shot that night, you're not going to score. And if you're a jumper and you don't have your jumps, you're not going to score. He did have the quad, but that's about it. Takeshi Honda coming up next from Mississauga on CTV.
When young skaters across Canada.
That was what you might say an early season skate for Chang Jiang Li. We've seen much better from him, particularly on the landings of jumps. Had no problem on that quad early on, though.
Well, this was the second quad, the quad Salchow. You can see good height, good distance, and he added a double toe on the end. 8.5 for the quad Salchow alone. One of his better jumps, his triple axel, eluded him. That was his second attempt at a triple axel, but he thought on his feet and added another one. But it gets tricky under the new system because you're only allowed 8 opportunities at jumps. So if you blow one, you lose an opportunity. So the skaters have to be very careful how many jumps they add, because for every one they add, then they have to start subtracting at the bottom. So as I said, you do have to be good in math, and these skaters do have to think on their feet.
This would have been a good format for Kurt Browning, a guy who used to make up programs at will. But Chang Jiang Li, again, we saw the quadruple jump rewarded in this short program with a lot of points, but the axle is still, the triple axle is still one of the most important jumps out there. These will be the marks that will set the standard for this final flight. Chang Jiang Li.
The total score for his pre-program is 113.
And he currently is in third place, 173.13 from some of the other skaters who skated earlier tonight. And on the ice is Takeshi Honda, world bronze medalist 2 years in a row, 22-year-old.
Our next competitor, representing Japan, Takeshi Honda.
And the defending champion of this event. Really, it's a fight between Honda and Plushenko. Emmanuel Sandu, if he can come up with a performance, depends a lot on what Plushenko does, but right now, the ball is in Takeshi Honda's court.
This is a program choreographed by Nikolai Morozov, who worked with Alexei Yagudin. Warsaw Concerto. Jiang Li, he did not get up straight. Couldn't turn it, couldn't land it. Also, like Chang Jiang Li, he's got another quad coming up. Quad style cow, nope, turn to a triple. He needs some big points now to catch Plashenko. Will he get it? Yes, on that triple axel. Double toe. 7.5 for the triple axel. Third quad coming up. Like that, taken into consideration in the second mark.
Right now, it appears that second mark is going to be the mark that's going to have to elevate him.
Very important that he finishes strongly with good energy. He's got to try and build up marks on lesser elements like the spin. But it'll take a lot to add up to those missed quads.
Took 3 runs at the quad. Imagine that, 3 quad attempts in one performance, but 3 strikes. And he was out.
That really drains you when you're making mistakes on your big tricks early on, as Takeshi did. It just sucks the life out of you.
Well, now a big opening for Canada's Emmanuel Sandhu. Needs to land that quad here, right now. And Jeff Buttle's still ahead from Mississauga on CTV.
There's flowers.
It's a built-in excuse, of course, but many of these skaters are suffering from some early season injuries. Takeshi is one of them. He had a fall a month ago and hurt his left side, so he's got some bumps and bruises, as many skaters have. I don't know if that was a factor here tonight, but clearly the quad was not in form. The triple axel was, though.
The triple axel was, and for that combination, he scored 8.8. A quad is worth 8, and combination with a triple toe. It goes up to 12.5. A very fine moment in his program, his footwork sequence. I like the way he sold it at the end of a disappointing performance for Takeshi. His first quad was way off, his first quad toe. His second quad toe I thought he almost had. He will get credit for fully turning that quad. He'll get 5 points for that, but he just missed out on the big scores, which you need when you're battling Plushenko.
Yeah, and Plushenko has the artillery, of course, and he will be skating after Emmanuel Sandou. Free skate 130.24. At Skate America, Takeshi had a 136.62, so far behind that, and Takeshi finished second behind Michael Weiss a week ago at Skate America. It is going to be very difficult to catch Plushenko. A guy, however, who now figures in a big way is this guy, Emmanuel Sandou, if he can put it down here tonight. Takeshi Honda is our leader. Kevin van der Perren of Belgium, currently in second place. One of the early skaters tonight. He began the night in last place.